man, thanks for checking out Billy the Kid Adventures. Today we're coming to you from Ohio's Mansfield Reformatory, filming location in Shawshank Redemption. The Shawshank Redemption was released in 1994 to considerable critical acclaim. The movie's message of hope, along with the film's theme about the enduring power of friendship, has resonated with people for years. The film was based on horror master Stephen King's 1982 novella, Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption, which was included with 3 other novellas in the author's somewhat obscure Different Seasons book. When Shawshank was approved for filming, the movie's creators scoured the country looking for the right kind of prison to serve as a backdrop for their story. They came across the Ohio State Reformatory, also known as the Mansfield Reformatory to those of us from Ohio, and were amazed at the eerie yet magnificent architecture of the prison. And as fate would have it, the prison had been shuttered a couple years earlier due to a lawsuit citing inhumane conditions and was available. After completing filming at the Reformatory, along with shooting several other scenes nearby in 1993, The Shawshank Redemption had its United States premiere on September 13, 1994 at Mansfield Renaissance Theater, which is still hosting movies and events today. Shawshank's initial limited theatrical release later in September was modest, to say the least, showing up in 13th place for the weekend box office. Even when the film had a more expanded nationwide release a couple weeks later in October, it did not fare much better. Unfortunately, coinciding with the same weekend, the much-anticipated blockbuster Pulp Fiction opened. Shawshank ultimately finished the year placing 95th in box office revenue. How did Shawshank's incredible popularity come about, you must be wondering? Well, word of mouth regarding the movie was a key factor, along with the film's 7 Academy Award nominations, including one for Best Picture. Though Shawshank did not win a single Oscar, the publicity led to a major boost for both home video rental and cable viewing that ultimately led to today's current popularity. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of those Shawshank scenes filmed at the Ohio State Reformatory. The Reformatory tour included a couple of cool surprises I wasn't expecting. First one was learning that Brooks's boarding house room was filmed in the administrative wing of the Reformatory. In the movie, the exterior of the Brewer Hotel is used as the place where Brooks, and later Red, will stay, but the room's interior scenes were actually done inside the Reformatory. The tour also included a display featuring an 18-foot-long tunnel prop that substituted for the sewer pipe that Andy used when he escapes from Shawshank. And here's another wide-angle view of the tunnel prop. Got to give a shout out to former Ohio State Reformatory inmate Michael Humphrey, who provided an informative talk to our group about the history of the prison and his life there as an inmate. Michael's anecdotes supplemented the stories of the folks we grew up with in our neighborhood on Cleveland's near west side, who were also incarcerated at Mansfield Reformatory back in the day. When I watched The Shawshank Redemption again as I was putting together this video, I did a double take with a couple scenes. First was the scene in which Andy negotiates with prison guard Hadley to get some beers for his pals tarring the prison roof with him in exchange for his financial services. When Red spoke of drinking icy cold Bohemia-style beer, I had to look again. They didn't mention the beer specifically by name, and I couldn't quite tell what brand the beer was at first glance. Upon further examination, my suspicions were confirmed. They were drinking Stroh's, a popular beer back in the day in Cleveland. In fact, it was my grandpa's favorite beer, and he coincidentally was actually from Bohemia. And like my grandpa, gotta admit, I had Stroh's myself back in the day. Secondly, you may recall the scene in which Red received a postcard that was a clue from Andy about his current location after escaping from Shawshank.
Not long after the warden deprived us of his company, I got a postcard in the mail. It was blank.
When I watched the scene again, I did a double take and then I quickly chuckled as I realized that the postcard that Andy had sent to Red was the exact one I had gotten decades earlier from one of my best friends when they were out west on vacation and had sent it to me. Here's a closer look. Wrapping up my Shawshank Redemption adventure, I would have loved to visit the iconic oak tree where Red locates the tin box left with Andy's letter, along with money and a bus ticket to come visit him in Mexico. As most folks unfortunately know, the oak tree has been gone now for several years. Toppled by a storm in 2016, the oak tree's remnants were cut down in 2017, with both events making the news. Today, a small portion of the oak tree is on display near the Ohio State Reformatory. So while I was not able to visit the original oak tree location, I did get a chance to make a quick stop where Red headed down the country road on his way to visit the oak tree. And here I am on the road where Red, after hitching a ride in the pickup truck, headed down to find the oak tree and his treasure to freedom. Thanks again for checking out Billy the Kid Adventures and my Shawshank Redemption journey about one of the most inspirational films of all time. For more adventures, check out the Cleveland filming locations of The Deer Hunter, along with my graphic novel, Hey You Punks, about my friends and I growing up on Cleveland's gritty near west side.